Robert had reached the age of 68 when his usual morning routine nearly turned fatal. For 3 full decades, he began each day precisely the same manner: 3 scrambled eggs accompanied by toast. He felt confident he was making all the correct choices. He remained physically active, followed his prescribed medications faithfully, and viewed eggs as the ideal protein option for maintaining strength during his later years. However, on one particular morning, the situation shifted dramatically. Robert suddenly fell to the floor in his kitchen, gripping his chest tightly. Paramedics transported him urgently to the hospital emergency department, where physicians determined that his cholesterol readings were alarmingly elevated and his arteries showed serious blockages. When questioned regarding his eating habits, the reality emerged. Those everyday eggs, along with a series of important errors Robert was unaware he was committing, had been quietly harming his heart and blood vessel system for many years. In this presentation, I will disclose the 10 common egg-related errors that older adults commit on a daily basis, errors that may seriously jeopardize your well-being. We have ordered these from worrisome to potentially deadly. What struck me most profoundly while investigating was this: mistake number 4 carries scientific proof that it can more than double the likelihood of developing heart disease. Mistake number 7 relates to a bacterial hazard that sends thousands of older individuals to hospitals annually. And the error ranked as number 1 is so prevalent that you could be committing it at this very moment without any awareness. But the key point remains: there is no requirement to eliminate eggs from your life entirely. In reality, when handled and eaten properly, eggs are capable of remaining a component of a nutritious eating plan for those in their senior years. The issue does not lie with the eggs on their own. The difficulty arises from the methods we employ to manage them, prepare them, and integrate them into our everyday schedules. By the conclusion of this presentation, you will possess clear knowledge of precisely which pitfalls to steer clear of, the ways to correct them, and above all, the steps to safeguard yourself and those dear to you from the concealed threats hidden within something as ordinary as a morning egg. Therefore, remain with me through to the final moments, because I intend to provide a straightforward checklist that has the potential to genuinely preserve your life. Let us begin exploring. Mistake number 10, cleaning eggs prior to putting them away. We commence with mistake number 10. This particular one catches the majority of individuals off guard. Numerous older adults rinse their eggs straight away upon returning from the shop, convinced they are exercising additional care regarding hygiene. Yet what eludes most individuals' knowledge is this: eggs possess a natural safeguarding layer known as the bloom or cuticle, which covers the shell's porous surface and blocks bacteria from gaining entry. When eggs are rinsed before being stored, that protective covering gets stripped away. With the coating eliminated, harmful bacteria such as salmonella gain the ability to pass through the shell's minuscule openings and taint the contents within. This danger is heightened for seniors since immune function typically declines as years advance, rendering us more vulnerable to illnesses transmitted through food. In the US, eggs sold commercially undergo washing and disinfection processes prior to arriving at retail locations, explaining the necessity for refrigeration. Should you purchase eggs directly from a nearby farm or at a farmer's market, the bloom may remain present, meaning you absolutely should refrain from washing them until just moments before cracking them open. The proper solution: keep eggs in their unwashed state inside the original packaging, placed in the chilliest section of the refrigerator. Avoid the door area where temperatures vary frequently. Only wash them briefly with cool running water right before use if they show visible dirt. Mistake number 9, placing eggs inside the refrigerator door compartment. Continuing with storage concerns, mistake number 9 concerns the specific location chosen for eggs within the refrigerator. That handy built-in egg tray located in the refrigerator door is, surprisingly, among the poorest choices for egg storage. Here is the explanation of why this holds particular importance for older adults. The door section experiences the highest warmth inside the refrigerator due to exposure to ambient air whenever the door opens. Such repeated temperature shifts promote condensation forming on the shells, elevating the chance of bacterial proliferation and shortening the egg's usable period. Furthermore, the ongoing motion and shaking from repeated door openings and closings can produce imperceptible fractures in the shells. These tiny fissures offer entry points for bacteria to reach the interior. For maximum protection, position eggs still in their carton on a central or lower shelf near the rear of the refrigerator, where temperatures stay steadier, usually ranging from 33 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The carton supplies padding and also helps prevent eggs from taking on smells from surrounding foods. Mistake number 8, consuming eggs featuring runny yolks. At this stage, we shift focus to preparation errors. Mistake number 8 sparks debate since numerous individuals enjoy eggs prepared sunny side up or soft-boiled, savoring that rich liquid yolk. Nevertheless, for seniors, eggs that remain partially uncooked represent a substantial hazard to health. Eggs in raw or insufficiently cooked form may contain salmonella bacteria responsible for foodborne sickness. Although salmonella can affect people of any age, those beyond 65 face considerably greater odds of experiencing serious consequences. The immune response loses strength over time, meaning an episode of food poisoning that might result in merely a few unpleasant days for someone younger could lead to hospitalization for a senior due to intense dehydration, elevated fever, and possibly fatal issues. Data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention indicate that salmonella leads to roughly 1.35 million cases of infection across the United States annually, with seniors comprising an outsized proportion of hospital admissions and fatalities linked to these infections. The prudent method involves cooking eggs completely until both the white portion and the yolk solidify firmly. The core temperature needs to attain 160 degrees Fahrenheit to eliminate dangerous bacteria. When preparing recipes calling for uncooked eggs, such as homemade mayonnaise or Caesar salad dressing, opt for pasteurized varieties instead. Mistake number 7, allowing cooked eggs to remain at room temperature. Mistake number 7 occurs more frequently than one might expect, particularly amid holiday breakfast gatherings or family get-togethers. Permitting cooked eggs to sit exposed at room temperature beyond 2 hours establishes ideal conditions for bacterial multiplication. This presents heightened peril for seniors, who often experience slower digestive processes and metabolism. Whenever eggs remain within the hazardous temperature range of 40 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, bacteria multiply swiftly, increasing their numbers every 20 minutes. Consider that a peeling egg casserole left on the serving table for 3 hours. It might contain millions of bacterial organisms by the moment you serve yourself again. Indications of illness from tainted eggs generally encompass nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach pain, and fever. Among seniors, these effects can rapidly progress to dehydration and disruptions in electrolyte balance, conditions especially hazardous when combined with medications prescribed for cardiac conditions, diabetes, or elevated blood pressure. The remedy is straightforward, yet demands consistency. Place cooked eggs and dishes containing eggs into refrigeration within 2 hours after preparation, or within 1 hour should room temperature exceed 90 degrees Fahrenheit. When offering eggs during a brunch event or similar occasion, employ a warming device or chafing setup to maintain hot items above 140 degrees. Mistake number 6, disregarding expiration dates on eggs. Mistake number 6 appears straightforward on the surface, yet it astonishes many how frequently seniors continue consuming eggs long after the printed date. Assuming safety because no unpleasant odor or visible change appears. This represents a risk you must never accept. With advancing age, the ability to detect scents often weakens, preventing recognition of early spoilage cues that were noticeable earlier in life. An egg that appears entirely normal might harbor bacteria capable of causing illness. Egg packaging includes either a sell-by date or an expiration date. Typically, eggs stay safe for consumption over 3 to 5 weeks following purchase, provided proper refrigeration occurs. However, surpassing that expiration date markedly raises contamination risks. Perform this simple safety check. Submerge the egg in a container of water. Fresh ones sink completely and rest horizontally. Those standing upright on the bottom remain edible but warrant prompt use. Any egg that rises to float must be discarded without hesitation. It has spoiled. For seniors residing independently or using eggs infrequently, purchasing smaller packs helps guarantee consumption before spoilage. Avoid selecting cartons displaying cracked shells and verify the date prior to buying. Mistake number 5, preparing eggs using excessive butter or oil. We now approach the top 5. Mistake number 5 pertains to cooking techniques for eggs. A significant number of seniors were raised during periods when butter and oil carried little perceived health concern, and long-standing culinary practices persist stubbornly. Nevertheless, utilizing large quantities of saturated fat to cook eggs can convert a generally beneficial item into a contributor to heart and vessel problems. Cooking eggs in butter, particularly generous amounts, introduces considerable saturated fat and cholesterol into the dish. For seniors already managing elevated cholesterol or cardiac conditions, this pairing proves especially detrimental. A single large egg holds approximately 186 mg of cholesterol, concentrated entirely in the yolk. Incorporating 2 tablespoons of butter for cooking adds roughly 31 mg more cholesterol, plus 7 grams of saturated fat. Guidelines from the American Heart Association advise restricting saturated fat intake to around 13 grams daily for individuals consuming 2,000 calories. That richly buttered scrambled egg meal might exceed half your entire daily saturated fat allowance before including toast or other additions. Superior alternatives include utilizing a non-stick skillet with merely a brief mist of cooking spray, or employing a modest quantity of olive oil. Rich in beneficial monounsaturated fats for the heart. Poaching and boiling requires zero added fat whatsoever. Should butter's taste appeal strongly, apply it sparingly as a final enhancement rather than the primary cooking medium. Mistake number 4, consuming an excessive quantity of eggs weekly. Here we arrive at mistake number 4, the error that research has conclusively connected to more than doubling heart disease probability. Over many years, guidance surrounding egg intake has fluctuated, generating confusion among seniors regarding truly safe quantities. Contemporary extensive investigations offer troubling insights. A study featured in the Journal of the American Medical Association tracked more than 29,000 individuals across an average span of 17 years, revealing that each extra half-egg daily correlated with a 6% elevated risk of cardiovascular disease and an 8% increased risk of mortality from all causes. A separate 2021 analysis of data involving over 500,000 adults determined that exceeding 1 egg per day linked to markedly greater chances of heart disease and stroke, notably among those aged 65 and beyond. Investigators determined that daily consumption of 1 or more eggs more than doubled the risk relative to infrequent egg eaters. The core concern involves cholesterol alongside a substance termed TMAO. Upon ingesting eggs, intestinal bacteria transform choline, a nutrient plentiful in yolks, into trimethylamine oxide or TMAO. Heightened TMAO concentrations show strong ties to greater likelihood of heart attacks, strokes, and cardiovascular-related fatalities. For seniors possessing pre-existing risks such as hypertension, diabetes, or prior cardiac events, regular multiple egg intake can prove especially hazardous. Egg cholesterol contributes to arterial plaque accumulation in vessels already compromised by age-related alterations. So what constitutes a reasonable limit? Contemporary cardiologists generally advise seniors to restrict whole egg consumption to no more than 3 to 4 per week. For more frequent egg desires, incorporate egg whites exclusively. These deliver pure protein devoid of cholesterol. 2 egg whites effectively substitute for 1 complete egg in the majority of preparations. Mistake number 3, overlooking potential interactions with medications. Mistake number 3 receives surprisingly little attention, yet it likely impacts millions of seniors presently. Specific drugs frequently prescribed to older individuals can interact with elements in eggs, diminishing drug efficacy or amplifying adverse reactions. Consider statins initially. These cholesterol-reducing agents rank among the most commonly dispensed to seniors. Regular egg intake rich in cholesterol, while on statins essentially counteracts the medication's purpose. Although dietary cholesterol from eggs influences blood cholesterol less intensely than previously believed, it still exerts effects, particularly alongside additional sources. Blood-thinning medications raise another issue. Egg yolks supply vitamin K involved in clotting processes. If prescribed warfarin or calmidin, abrupt variations in egg consumption can disrupt medication performance. Maintaining steady intake proves crucial. Consume approximately consistent quantities of vitamin K-rich foods, including eggs, weekly. An additional overlooked interaction occurs with particular antibiotics. Eggs contain substantial calcium, which hinders absorption of tetracycline-class antibiotics and certain fluoroquinolones. During such antibiotic courses, refrain from eggs for a minimum of 2 hours preceding and following each dose. The appropriate response: consult your physician regarding dietary habits whenever a new prescription begins. Inquire directly about possible interactions between eggs or other high cholesterol, high protein items and your medications. Maintain a dietary record if using blood thinners to ensure stable vitamin K levels. Mistake number 2: pairing eggs alongside additional high-risk ingredients. We reach mistake number 2, where many seniors unintentionally assemble a combination that maximizes health dangers. The concern extends beyond eggs alone to the accompanying foods. The traditional American morning meal poses a severe threat to senior cardiovascular well-being. Eggs alongside bacon or sausage, toast spread with butter and hash browns. This mixture unleashes overwhelming quantities of saturated fat, cholesterol, sodium, and processed carbohydrates simultaneously. For seniors managing existing heart conditions or diabetes, such a meal can precipitate sudden cardiovascular incidents. Consider these figures. 2 eggs combined with 2 bacon strips, buttered toast, and hash browns may deliver over 800 mg cholesterol, 30 grams saturated fat, and 1,500 mg sodium. That exceeds a 3-day cholesterol allowance, surpasses double the daily saturated fat recommendation, and provides 2/3 of permitted daily sodium, all within one sitting. Sodium particularly alarms seniors, as elevated levels elevate blood pressure, and hypertension risk already climbs with age. Merging egg cholesterol with sodium from processed meats, plus saturated fat from butter, fosters vascular inflammation, capable of triggering heart attacks and strokes. Processed meats such as bacon and sausage include nitrites and nitrates deemed probable carcinogens. With habitual intake connected to heightened colorectal cancer risk, already more prevalent among seniors. Correction demands a complete breakfast overhaul. When including eggs, combine them with produce such as spinach, tomatoes, or bell peppers. Select whole grain toast minus butter, or preferably fresh fruit as accompaniment. Substitute bacon with modest avocado portions for beneficial fats, or incorporate smoked salmon rich in protective omega-3s for cardiac support. Mistake number 1: assuming eggs suffice as complete protein provision. Finally, the foremost mistake seniors commit concerning eggs, one so pervasive it currently undermines health and lifespan for millions of older adults. Many seniors hold the view that eggs' high protein content means daily consumption fulfills all protein requirements. This misunderstanding fosters a limited dietary approach, lacking diversity and essential nutrients unavailable from eggs. Here lies the reality. Eggs indeed supply solid protein, around 6 grams per large one, yet depending predominantly on them creates several difficulties. Firstly, it exposes you repeatedly to the cholesterol and associated hazards previously outlined. More critically, it blocks access to the broad spectrum of nutrients present in alternative protein options. Varied protein sources deliver distinct amino acid combinations, vitamins, and minerals. Fish contributes omega-3 fatty acids combating inflammation and supporting neurological function. Legumes supply fiber entirely absent in eggs. Nuts and seeds offer vitamin E alongside healthful fats. Lean poultry provides B vitamins in proportions differing from eggs. Limiting primary protein to eggs forfeits these advantages. Emerging evidence also underscores the value of spreading protein intake evenly across daily meals for seniors. Sarcopenia, age-related muscle decline, intensifies post-60. Preserving muscle requires roughly 25 to 30 grams high-quality protein per meal, extending beyond breakfast alone. 2 eggs at breakfast yield merely about 12 grams protein, insufficient for maximal muscle protein stimulation. Broadly, seniors require approximately 1 to 1.2 grams protein per kilogram body weight daily, exceeding younger adult needs. For a 150-pound senior, this translates to roughly 68 to 82 grams protein daily. Attempting solely egg-derived protein would necessitate 11 to 14 eggs each day, devastating for cholesterol and cardiac health. Resolution lies in protein variety. Position eggs as one element within a weekly protein cycle, yet incorporate fish twice weekly, legumes on multiple occasions, lean poultry, Greek yogurt, plus nuts and seeds. This strategy ensures comprehensive nourishment while reducing overconsumption hazards tied to eggs. That concludes the presentation. The 10 egg mistakes potentially endangering your health, arranged from concerning to potentially life-threatening. Let us briefly review the most vital points. Cease consuming eggs with liquid yolks. The bacterial danger outweighs any benefit. Restrict whole eggs to 3 or 4 weekly at most, particularly with heart disease risk factors present. Avoid leaving cooked eggs unrefrigerated beyond 2 hours. Above all, refrain from depending solely on eggs for protein. Variety remains crucial for successful aging. Recall Robert introduced at the start. Following his cardiac event, physicians implemented a rigorous dietary regimen. He retained eggs but reduced to 3 weekly, ensuring thorough cooking and vegetable pairings rather than bacon. He broadened protein choices and emphasized heart-supportive foods. 2 years onward, his cholesterol stabilized, and his vitality surpassed levels seen in many prior years. You possess the ability to implement identical adjustments beginning immediately. Your future well-being will appreciate the decisions enacted today. Should this content prove helpful, please like the video and subscribe for additional senior-focused wellness guidance. My question for you: which mistake have you been committing? Share in the comments section below.